Kusura bakmayın yayında bir kesinti oluyor. Şansımızı tekrar deniyoruz. Tekrar deneyelim. Dün de buna benzer bir şeyler oldu bu Pietro ile olan yayında. Umarım tekrarlanmaz. Halbuki güzel. Evet.
Here we
Am
go.
I back? I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Okay,
Okay, now I
before
can see everything. We've got everything. Okay.
we
So
have a
sorry.
running gag. We have a running gag whenever we talk about tenors, the live stream cuts. So but we didn't even start. We didn't even start. So I
Hello, I'm Ada Aslan. I'm an opera student in Istanbul University State Conservatory. And this is a question I wanted to ask. When you were young, how did you cope with anxiety and stress? Thank you so much.
when you were young, you're still young. When you were
No, getting
younger,
old. I'm getting
wow,
old.
when you were younger, could you hear?
Yeah, I could absolutely hear. That's a big, deep question. I'm sorry. What was her name
Yeah.
again?
Her name is
Hello, I'm Ada Aslan.
Eda Aslan. Eda.
Ada Aslan. Ada. Hi,
Yeah.
Ada. It's a great question, actually. That's a deep question. To be honest with you, when I was young, I didn't have so much problem with anxiety at the beginning. When I first started out, so for when I first started with competitions and stuff, it was nothing. It was like, oh, cool, competition, great, let's do another one, give me more. And at the beginning, I didn't really have much problem with it because I was on the stage when I was young all the time, and my parents were involved in their local church, and they stuck me on the stage all the time since I was 10. So getting up in front of an audience for me wasn't that big of a deal. But then when I started working here in Berlin, I realized, oh, this is a little bit more important. There's a lot more hanging on the auditions, and so then I did have to start dealing with a lot of anxiety after my second or third year here in Berlin, and
So you start caring of people's reactions, and then that made you.
Yeah, and there's more people sitting in the audience than you really want to be sitting in the audience, or each performance is not as carefree maybe or something as it was, and so for me at the beginning, I didn't know how to deal with that. In fact, it was this strange like demon thing you have to deal with every time you go on the stage, and I got so bad that I even had one audition I fell apart and completely fell apart, and I thought, okay, I got to figure this out now, or I'm gonna have a very short-lived career. And I started using an herbal remedy, this Bach rescue remedy, to help for at least to control the nerves. But now it has a lot to do with, you have to find out why you're singing. I think that the best answer for that is, who are you singing for? And you need to be able to go out there and find within yourself the reasons for why you're there. Are you there to make other people happy? Are you there to make other people like you? Or are you there to do what to show music, to give your interpretation for the music? Are you there to inspire somebody? Are you there to just yourself enjoy the music, which then gives other people an enjoyment of the music? So I think that's something we have to do as individual people first. But
to
it's
start
difficult.
with. So what do you call cornerstone? You say in English? No.
Cornerstone? Yeah, you would say cornerstone. Yeah.
Cornerstone. Now you have to find some reason to start with. Then you just grow in that.
That's to me the best thing, because if you go just by other people's opinions, it can get really sticky. I'm a big people pleaser, which is why I still get nervous. I mean, everyone gets nervous. I'm sure you even get nervous, don't you? Or you have like
wait a second.
immune to nerves.
I need a little bit of light.
Okay.
I just I just get nervous when I don't do a role for a long time and then go back.
I can see
Because
that.
because then people go like, oh, you were really good in that. And that makes it
You
worse.
were.
You were really good
did.
in that 5 years ago. Are you still able to do that? That's a big pressure, you know, to put on your shoulders.
No
And it's
question.
yeah, and then people are like, "Oh, Jackie, you're great in that repertoire." Making you, you know, like is it a
That's
compliment? Yeah, it's a great compliment, but
exactly.
compliments are, so I'm not giving any compliments, you know. Everybody saw you on stage or work with you, they know your quality, so I'm not bombarding you
No.
with
But that's
compliments.
how my first audition failed. Was someone had told me, one of the people that I was working for had said, "Oh, you're great in this role," and then he went to a different house and said, "But 2 years later said, well, why don't I invite you back, but audition with this because we want you for that role." And all I could remember was he said I was great. Don't screw up. Don't screw up. Don't screw
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
And
That,
I blew it. I absolutely blew it. So,
and for the roles like, oh, this is really difficult. Am I gonna make it?
yeah.
I'm not really anxious about this, but the roles
No.
that your signature roles are, people are always expecting you to deliver some
Yeah.
kind of quality.
That's very
So
true.
tell me how you ended up with Strauss and Wagner. You didn't
Oh,
start
how
with
did I
that. You
start?
didn't start with that.
No. I started with
No.
lots of Mozart, man. Mozart's
Yeah.
been my
Mm.
potatoes and meat for my whole career.
Yeah.
No, how did I go into Strauss? Someone asked me why. I always loved Arabella, actually, the one we've done together. I've always loved the opera. That was one of my favorite operas. I don't know why. It just was something I really enjoyed. I liked the story. I thought the story was
Mm.
wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think.
You're frozen.
No.
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay.
You're back.
So someone said, why don't we take a risk and see if you want to do it? And I said, great, I'd love to, because I was always told that my voice would go into Strauss and Wagner, and I'd never tried it. And so when I did, it was like, wow, this feels like home. And then the Wagner just came as, then people said, well, you know, Eva is lighter. She's actually not that light, but whatever. And, you know, just some other small things. But I'm not, I wouldn't say that I'm like a signature Wagner singer in any way. I just do a few of the lighter stuff. You know, I'm not, you know, the Wagner
Yeah, but
singers.
still, still, you feel the pressure that, I have to make people happy with the sound, with the colors and the expectations.
Right.
Because we talked about it with Ramon a few weeks ago with Vargas, because he's a perfect example of a tenor who sang always with his voice and with his lyric qualities. You know, he never really, you know,
It's not.
you know what I mean. So you're
He's
doing something similar. You always sing with your voice. I
try
haven't
to, yeah.
I haven't seen your live in Fidelio, but I assume you're being
I've tried to do that one as simple as Mozart style as possible.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I have a really good teacher that helps me with that as well. And she was always known in her career. She retired a few years ago. She was known in her career of keeping the voice very narrow and very true to what it was, and not making it bigger than what it was. And so I try to take her guidance to do that. But that's really important.
Schlank singen.
Genau, Schlag
Okay.
singen.
Another question. Let me choose. Oh, I think it was about this one.
Merhabalar. Ben sopran Arjun Yıldız.
It's in Turkish. I'm gonna translate. So.
Size sorum audisyonlar hakkında. Bir audisyona hazırlık süreci fiziksel ve zihinsel olarak nasıl olmalı? Audisyon sırasında verebileceğiniz taktikler neler olabilir? Teşekkür ediyorum.
She says how you prepare an audition and what would you suggest for young singers preparing, what to prepare and repertoire choices.
It's a good question. It's a beautiful place where she lives or wherever she is.
I love it how she filmed it. It's from I think Asian side of Bosphorus. Have you ever been in Istanbul?
Never been there. I really wanted to go.
So this is another thing we're doing. We're inviting all the singers to Istanbul. After this ends, we're gonna have a big concert in Istanbul.
I'm coming.
Yeah. Ramon is coming. Pietro is coming. Everybody's coming. And,
Oh, amazing.
yeah. So it's a big question for young singers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's
And I think there was another question she was asking. I couldn't find the video. She was asking how you cope with singing Alcina and Eva in Meistersinger. How you find the balance between the styles, probably. Because singing is not that different. You're still using the same technique.
Exactly. It's a little bit different.
Style. Yeah.
The style is different. And I think the most important thing, if you're changing, or a quick answer that first, if you're changing the styles, I think what I've learned is the most important thing to do is make sure they're not back to back. I wouldn't want to sing an Alcina and then Eva the next day or the next week.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little bit too of a, you might have your brain
exactly.
go, what's going on? But I think to have that difference in the repertoire is really crucial, I find, because when you start singing, especially when you're young and you start singing a lot of a really stretch of your repertoire all the time, then you stretch your voice out. Mm-hmm. I remember singing with a big Wagner, he was a bass, I'm not going to say who it was, but as a famous guy, and we did, he actually did, we were doing Goethe Dämmerung, and I was just doing Gutrune, right?
Okay.
And he told me once, he said, I'm about to go back into a Zauberflöte because I have to do that. The voice, the bands, your vocal cords are like underwear. I promise. This is what he said. It's like underwear. And if you stretch the underwear out, then you let it go back in again, it'll stay flexible. But if you always have it extended to its maximum, suddenly your underwear doesn't fit anymore. I will never forget that.
Okay.
And I find it a good one. It is that
okay.
You have to let your voice go back and forth.
Okay, you're okay. That was a very nice answer and technical question.
Well,
our friends in Istanbul, they always cut highlights in the interview, so this is going to be the highlight. This is going to be the highlight of the interview. So there's a question. Let me see. Oh, Linet from Izmir, West Turkey, a lovely soprano. She asks, here you go. Do you do embodiment exercises besides vocal exercises before singing?
Embodiment would just be physical exercises. I always do before I sing at a performance. I always do yoga in the morning. So I'm always, I like to run and swim normally in a normal exercise day, let's say, and but I don't choose that really physical, demanding stuff on a day of a performance. I find that deep stretching and really allowing the body to get loose and to allow yourself to be peaceful is really helpful for the singing, and also really helpful for whatever we're asked to do on the stage. You know, we have to do a lot of jumping around and running around and kneeling up and down. So making sure that all those leg muscles are really open and really flexible. So, but I
think that there was also a question, and if I've downloaded all these films, tiny videos. Let me see. I don't know. Oh, no sound. Here you go. Oh, I have to.
Merhaba, iyi yayınlar dilerim öncelikle. Benim sorum, sahneye çıkacağınız gün uyandıktan sonra neler yaparsınız? O gün içinde nelere dikkat edersiniz? Teşekkür ederim.
So we're teaching Turkish here.
Yeah, you are.
As you can see, very young singers. She asked on the day of performance. So that was the similar question. So what do you do on the day?
I don't get up super early, but I get up when I get up. I sleep until maybe 8 or 9, depending on what you've done the night before, and then I do a good hour of yoga, relaxing, and I just do a normal day. I don't find it that I have to be.
You always did that, or you just doing yoga like lately, or you've been doing it for long? I've done
yoga for probably 10, 12 years. I'm not like a yoga teacher, but I enjoy doing yoga once or twice a week. And I found that it helped my performances, that I was a little bit, just because my body was so much more relaxed and felt stronger, then it helped me not have to worry about anything on the stage. So that's why I did it. And also I realized that when I run, I try to run about 3 times a week, that I cough. And then if I cough and I have to do a performance that night, then I have to.
Yeah, it's no good. So, but do you take short walks?
Yeah, a short walk, get the blood moving. Don't sit in the sun; that'll kill you for the evening. And
Or do you have different recipes for different roles? Like,
oh, I don't know. I mean, I try to eat something. I try to eat by, say, if the performance is at 7:30, I try to eat by, say, 3:34. And I try to eat a lot of vegetables and fish or something, or sometimes a steak if I feel that that's, you know, a bigger role. You want a little bit more meat on your bones.
There's this very famous restaurant in Bologna. Have you ever sang Bologna?
In Bologna? No, never.
No. So there's a restaurant called Ristorante Donatello. So this guy knows the singers, and he comes every time you go there, and he goes, oh, what are you singing tonight? Or you say Don Giovanni. Okay, so I'm going to do some pomodoro fresco with some olives and this. And then if you're singing, I don't know, if you're singing Ballo in Mascherada, I'll give you the steak. And so,
Really?
This guy, his father was a tenor, so he gives people different, you know, very individual stuff for the shows. So I love that. So
oh, that's amazing. I'm not that
if he hears us.
Are you specific like that when you're
No,
by yourself?
no, I'm more of a pasta person on a show day. If it's a normal role that, you know, I just do a simple pasta with olive oils, not like like big tomatoes and stuff and garlic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Gotta be a little nice to our colleagues, right?
Yeah. The first day I arrived to Germany, let me tell this story, that I was doing Don Giovanni. That was my first ever production in Düsseldorf. My colleague, Leporello, you know, our Probebühne in Duisburg. So the first ever rehearsal, he came and he had the Mettwurst bread, and topped with onions and black pepper, and he ate it, and then I was like, okay, we're doing a rehearsal now, the whole first act. Leporello and Don Giovanni, a very dear colleague of mine now, but it was horrible first day for me, you know. It was like fresh white onions on this Mettwurst. I mean, yeah, raw meat and onions, a great breakfast.
Oh, I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry.
So there was another question here from what's his name? Wait a second. Here you go. Okay.
Merhabalar, iyi günler ve iyi yayınlar dilerim. Ben şöyle bir soru yöneltmek istiyorum. Performans anında ne yaşadığı komik bir talihsizliği bize anlatabilir mi acaba? Teşekkür ederim.
So now you know teşekkür ederim is like thank you.
I'm learning.
So he's asking a funny accident or maybe a tragic accident, and you find it funny now. Maybe you didn't find it funny by then.
Oh, you mean that?
Ever, or just funny, even on stage, during a show or rehearsal.
I mean, it seems like
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have.
I remember one moment that was, I mean, nothing happened, thankfully, but I remember when I was Fest at the Deutsche Oper here in Berlin, I had to do Hänsel and Gretel. And so I was Gretel, and we got to after the Pause, and in the Pause, I called my husband. He was not, we were not married yet, but we were dating, and I called him to say hi, because at that time he was still playing his trumpet in the orchestra, but he wasn't working that day. So I called him to say, what's going on? Everything okay? And the costume was like these big overall things, and had this really big pocket in the front, but huge pocket. And I probably had to go to the bathroom or was doing something, or someone came in the room after the phone call, and I just threw my phone in my pocket.
You dropped it in.
Yeah, I just, put it in the pocket, and I probably ran to the bathroom, I forgot to take it out. And it was not on silent, but he didn't call me back, thankfully. He could have called me back, and somebody else could have called me back. And I noticed it when the witch came in, and we were in, it was right at the time where the witch appears after the intermission, and we had to like roll on our backs, and my costume was really this oversized thing, and I saw my phone in the pocket and went, And it was one of those old phones that you can't just, you know, turn the little clip on the side and at least make sure it was on vibrate. Oh no, it was the old ones where you had to actually go to a setting and turn it off, you know? And
Yeah, exactly.
there
You
was
couldn't
no
just
way to do
go.
that. No, there was no way to do it. And then finally, thank God I was Gretel, because I got to leave while Hensel was still in the cage or something. She says, you know, go get the almonds or something like that. And I run off the stage for 3 minutes. I've never been happier to leave the stage.
But so just the
But
pressure.
what about yours?
Okay.
What do you have as your favorite one?
Every show,
It's
every
something,
show,
right?
every show. You know, I'm when I check stuff on the side, all this pieces like Don Giovanni or Tosca, you have like 5 keys, 3 masks, and then when you take the mask and you go on stage with the white mask and you drop it on the left side and you take the second one on
Right.
the right side,
Of course.
you know, and then you go like, oh, did I put did I
right
put
mask?
the mask? Yeah. Or
Yeah, I had once where we did Fledermaus and I forgot my mask. I'd taken off, I went off stage and took off my mask for a few minutes. I was sweaty probably, and, you know, do this or whatever and take some water because a big chunky mask. And then time to go back on stage, I went back on stage without the mask and went, oh, I still have to do the whole duet with Eisenstein, the whole secret thing where you can't be seen. And I thought, well, this is going to be a, you know, fan in my face evening, but thankfully someone realized it.
no,
Right,
it happens a lot, and I know it, and I check like 5 times, and people are making fun of me. Why are you checking so much everything? But I know that it, and then I put it, and then I go on stage, and the moment I have to take the mask, someone thinks it's better idea to put on the other side, and I have to run or getting it, things like that. So I mean, I think a couple of times I screwed up with it. I think I did like 70 or 80 shows of Tosca here as Angelotti, and the same. Every time I don't know, so I open the door, I close the door, I lock the door. Do I leave the keys on, or is Sharona is coming in and finding it or not finding it? The bread, do I eat the bread or leave the bread? You know this famous play Noises Off of Michael Caine.
Yeah, I've never seen it though. Yeah, I've never seen it.
So you know, you leave the sardines, you answer the phone, take the newspaper, and leave the stage. And she takes the phone, take the sardine, take that kind of situation. So it happens a lot that I left the wrong key on the door. So Sharona was coming in, and then Scarpio was getting, you found it, and he keeps searching and then probably swearing, you know, and then so after a couple of shows, they put on backstage like 3 different keys, 3 different ventaglio and all that, you know, that in case someone takes it or someone from the requisita, they're taking the stuff. So there are always like 3-4 extras on the site.
Hey, you need it. I mean, just things happen. Stuff happens on stage. You need help.
Yeah, but small things that people have no idea in Susha in the audience. They have no idea what's going on backstage.
No. And the point is that for us, that it actually is only small things, but for us in that moment, it's like, you know, it's a panic situation sometimes.
Exactly.
You know?
Probably you just build the whole aria on that stupid key, just like in second act, Leporello and art, and he finds the key, and we always change the jacket with Don Giovanni, and then changing, and then actually they're identical. Those both jackets are black, and one should have the key in it.
Oh no!
And then he goes like, ho trovato, and then once I did the whole acting, and then I found the key, but I didn't find it actually, and I just played it like in my.
Sure, you got to play.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that things. I mean, almost every show it happens. Yeah. Even I go like 2 hours before. Do you go early, or you're
I go at
just
least
like
2 hours early?
Yeah.
I really don't like being rushed, and I hate being rushed. I hate it because a lot of 459 people always come into the dressing room, especially on a day of a premiere. So you know, it's you got to get there early. Make sure you're warmed up before you start and having massive people come in. You know, I really hate that. If I feel rushed, I really hate it. But you too, yeah?
Yeah, I go. I mean, at least 90 minutes or 2 hours.
Yeah,
Least.
me too.
If I do Dulcamara, I have to be there 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then I move a little bit. I do all this exercises in my room, and I just go upstairs. I grab a water, and I just go upstairs, downstairs, use the stairs, and warm up a little bit because this Dulcamara starts immediately, and you have to be like bam.
Ready.
You don't have time. You start with the aria and duet.
That's true.
It's basically the first act, and you have
right.
to be really warmed up.
On your
But
toes,
some shows that allows you, like Leporello, you have time to get there, and you have a long night.
That's different, maybe.
Yeah. Some people did. I met a soprano who was singing Gilda. She always showed up like 20 minutes before the show.
Well, she must do all her warming up. What? Children?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was like, okay, but okay. Gilda has almost like 20 minutes, half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, no, that's true.
First appearance is like 30 minutes. But still, like an hour or 50 minutes before. She was like, okay, I'm getting so nervous if I'm here 2 hours before.
Oh, she gets nervous. Oh, I mean, it could be, but I have to be more prepared and make sure things are working and make sure I'm ready to go. I had one time just recently, I was doing my first Lohengrin in Salzburg, and we had a matinee. And so this just happened. We had a matinee, and I thought it started at 4, but it started at 3 or something like that. And and my husband called me, and because I said, oh yeah, I got to be there 4, which means I have to be there at 2, and because she opens up with her aria, her big aria, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so well, I guess there's maybe 15 minutes interlude, but Salzburg's big, and you got to do a lot of walking around Gaina, so you don't have that much time after the start of the show. So anyway, so my husband calls me and goes, honey, I just looked at the tickets. It starts at 3, and by this time it was 1:30 or almost 2. And I had, I was late for my makeup. I was late for everything, and had about
you arrived with your
warm up.
pajamas.
It was not okay. Not my pajamas, but I was in the middle of yoga. Actually,
I did. If anyone watching, anyone watching from Oslo, this season it happened. So it never happened to me. That was a Rigoletto show. No, it was a rehearsal. It was end rehearsal. It was HPO. It was pre-dress rehearsal. Every rehearsal in Oslo starts like 6 p.m. 6 p.m. And I got in one moment, and I said, okay, tomorrow is 6 p.m. too. And I had very strong allergies. I woke up like 4 a.m. in the morning. And I took some antihistamine, and then went back to sleep because the rehearsal is. So our Madalena calls me like, where are you? And I said, I'm home sleeping. And they're calling your name. What do you mean they call my name? Yeah, the whole opera house, they call your name, and they keep calling your name. I said, what? So I missed my duet because I was home.
They didn't even notice you missed a makeup call?
No, because they changed the makeup calls. They changed it to 5 or 10 minutes before the duet, because there were lots of chorus people and complicated makeup. So they said, it's enough that you come. And I said, I want to come earlier. No, you come 10 minutes early. So I just run. Grabbed a taxi and went there, and they were like, okay, no big deal, we just jumped the duet. Anyways, you have the dress rehearsal tomorrow, but they're so lovely, and they know that I'm always there, and they were like, we're so happy to have you here, because we thought something happened to you, some accident or something.
Thankfully not.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It happened. So even I'm checking like 5 times every day.
I get it.
And I was so sure that pre-dress was on 6 p.m.
Well, at least it wasn't a show. Can you imagine? That would have been different.
Yeah. But they were so nice, and hello to Oslo. I love that opera house there. Yeah. So have you ever sang there?
No, but I did a competition there, and so then I came back and.
You did Queen Sonia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I won second prize that time, and they offered me a concert for the Queen, so that was kind of cool. So I had to go back in her private castle
ya da Cumhur aşağı yazabilirlerse ses durumumuz nasıl? Yo.
Okay, teşekkürler. Sağ
There you
olun.
are. Okay, now I see everything. Thank you.
Can you see me?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So,
Now I can see
so
everything.
how about
Thank you.
the Mediterranean kitchen, cuisine?
Oh, big fan. Oh, big fan. Love it. The Spaniards eat a little bit more meat than maybe a Mediterranean, what probably you guys in Turkey eat, which, oh man, I can't wait to
Yeah.
go to Turkey one day. It'll be so good.
I mean, they're also into, they're all today.
Say that last thing one more time.
Yeah, we're more into fish. You're back.
Are we here? Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
You're more into fish was the
Oh,
last
I'm-
thing I heard.
Now I'm frozen.
Man, this is getting difficult.
This works better.
There you
How
are.
is it now?
I see you now. I see you.
Okay.
That's good.
I had an extra battery pack because
Oh.
it's we're more into vegetables and fish in West Turkey.
Much healthier, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, what I wanted to ask is your life out, not as a singer, your normal life. Do you really care? What do you eat? How do you sleep? And do you have a plan? And are you really I know singers they plan even when they don't sing.
Oh, I don't. I'm not like that. Sorry. Maybe they're much more disciplined than I am. I try to do a lot of exercise. That to me is crucial for me not to keep some sort of a rhythm to a day, especially when you're not in rehearsals or singing on the stage or anything. So I try to keep active and eat healthy. That means eat more vegetables and fruits. But yesterday I ate a bag of chips. So I mean, it just whatever days, and I try to eat not so much red meat and just try to keep a normal, healthy diet. And some days you're great, and some days you go, well, tomorrow I'll do better. But I'm not particularly anything.
Okay, and how about the social life? You go like, oh, I have Lohengrin tomorrow. I can't be bothered with the air conditioning in the movie. I don't know. Do you go to movies?
Once in a while, yeah. Especially if you're out, or some of your colleagues want to go see a show, and that's fun to do. I wouldn't do that before the night of a show. I would not do that the night of a show. Man,
you're a singer.
Yeah, I've just had enough time.
It's really tricky, though.
Yeah, it's really tricky. Yeah, but if you make a mistake, then you pay for it the next day. And I just can get to a point where you say, it's better for me to go out 2 days before the show and have a great time, and then the day before you just make sure you get the rest you need and eat the food you want to eat. So.
Yeah, the questions are always what do you do on the day of show, but I think the question is what you do the day before.
I think that's much more important. Yeah, for me that's more important. That means making sure I don't eat a late dinner, even though my husband, being Spaniard, loves his late dinners. For me, it's making sure that I eat the time that I need to, go to bed at the time that I'd like to, and not. I try not to call my mother or my sisters that night because I end up speaking for 2 hours on the phone, and then I notice the next day I'm fatigued, and I don't want to start a show when you're fatigued. So.
Yeah, exactly. The family phone calls are very tricky. You can just start like with 10 minutes, and it can end up with 2 hours.
Oh yeah, especially when you get ladies talking too. Well, even when I talk to my dad, but you know how that is. The
Yeah,
Turkish are also
exactly.
really, really social and animated people, right? I'm sure when you guys get on the
We're
phone,
so talkative. That's why we have the lockdown. If you let all this 80 million out, can you imagine everybody sitting at the cafes and
oh
all that?
man, that's all they do. Hey man, I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. I get it.
I think that was the biggest problem in Spain and Italy.
Yeah, for sure.
That
Yeah.
a coffee there and
Mhm.
a cake over there with the friends and the beer or wine
And a lot of kissing and
some
hugging, everyone kisses,
exactly.
right? Well, it has a lot to do with it.
So we don't usually talk about it, but how it's been for you
Corona?
last 3 months?
Oh, it's been a
Yeah.
little bit of a roller coaster. I'm not gonna lie. It's a tricky time, and everyone does ask about it. How do you survive? What are you doing? How are you keeping yourself busy? Honestly, I'm not really keeping myself busy. The big plus is I'm home with my husband in our home that we're never here, and we're enjoying being in Berlin, enjoying our home. I even have herbs. I never can have herbs. I can't have a plant; they die. So these kind of things are really wonderful. But the unsurety is the part that's really bad. So right when I was when they started Corona, it was or when they started the lockdown, I was in Paris with rehearsals for Giovanni, and we'd only been there about almost 2 weeks, not a quite full 2 weeks, and to go home and say, oh, we were estimating to be here, almost 7 weeks. Okay, let's go home now. 12 performances down the drain, and then have the hope, okay, we're now in March, but end of May, we'll be fine, right? That there's no problem. And so you come home and you go, okay, let's spring clean the house 12 times and start a little, do this and that. And then suddenly you get the call a week before we're supposed to go to Paris, and they say, well, you're supposed to come to Paris again for Cozy. Sorry, we're not doing. You go, okay, another 9 performances down the drain. We're going to be fine. We saved money. Everything's going to be okay. And then to get a phone call last week to say that my show starting the next season in Barcelona is canceled. And you go, okay, that means my calendar until after Christmas is canceled. And you go,
Yeah.
so it's been like this. It's just been up and down, and some days are great and positive, and some days you just kind of go, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to practice? Where's my goal? Singers, we have goals. What's the next thing you're singing? What's the next thing you're practicing for? And not to have that, and you say, oh, it's a great big long vacation. Oh yeah, sure, but am I sure that the vacation is going to be done in December? I mean, but that's a long time to keep your savings account going. You know what I mean?
So I've been practicing on my voice and just
yeah, great.
but without goal. Like last 2 weeks, I'm really working on it, but without any target. Like, okay, I'm working on my instrument, at least keeping it fresh.
That's great.
But then so last, like, 2 days ago, I received an email about the new plan. I'm not going to say, of course, what we're doing now because it's not official. They may change it. So we're doing smaller pieces for next, from September to December. They have to replan everything based on 1.5 meter rule and all that, smaller orchestras and without chorus, without, so, but I'm so happy. So I know, like, oh, at least I have a score to work on,
No, that's great. It's needed,
Yeah. So I think in Germany, I think also in Komschoper, they're also doing small pieces, but I don't know what you're going to do, Deutsche Oper Berlin or Barcelona, Madrid, Scala without chorus.
Without chorus, what do you do? What do we have? A whole appetite of Mozart, and have either the choir singing in the loge that has that's completely separated, or you just simply skip that part. I don't know. I don't know how that works. So, but you as a fest singer, I'm so happy that you're fest because you still have that income coming in. I find so crucial. And for the colleagues that are then also freelance, it's just it's a time to really take stock of what's important to you as well, and also
the agent. I was on the phone with my agent, and she just told me that there's no income, basically nothing happening, and they have a huge investment there. So, but the good thing, Vienna is starting in September with 1,000 people.
Are you serious? I didn't read that. Oh, that's so great.
Vienna is starting. This is the plan. Yeah, with 1,000, maximum 1,000. Which is great. I think we're starting with 350 people, but it's still something, you know.
You know, but
And
I jumped into Zurich right before the lockdown. It was about a week before the lockdown came on, and they had also the 1,000 max rule of, I think that includes orchestra, technical guys, choir, it includes everybody. But it was weird to see a half empty Zuschauer, public seating. You know, it was really strange to see that, but they were it didn't lack in enthusiasm and lack for appreciation. So, I mean, I just know, I think that they can do that again. People were spread out, 1,000 people, you know, limit. That means there's what, 700 in the audience in the end, if that's counting orchestra and backstage help and everything like that. So it's really possible. And I think that people are starting to realize, you're wearing a mask, we'll be okay. You know, it's, I think what I've heard is their biggest problem of how to deal with is the pause, and I know that
there's no break.
Right, it has to be.
All the productions we have will be there. There will be one act pieces, or like maximum 70 minutes, and then it's over.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
And I think in 2 weeks we have a concert. I'm not in it, but Deutsche Oper am Rhein is making a concert on drive-in cinema here.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, so singers are going to be on the side with the orchestra. They will sing, and people are going to stay in their cars parked, and the windows closed. And then they're going to just tune in the radio. It's going to be radio transmission.
Broadcast?
Directly from the stage, and they will see on the huge screen the singers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They're doing it in 2 weeks.
Oh
Gosh.
gosh.
I mean, the ideas are limitless.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, the idea is they have to keep going, because if not, you're going to destroy a huge section of this art form. And now that they're letting people go see movies, at least here in Berlin, I think it's next week, the cinemas are open. Man, let's get some of those theaters open. Let's figure out a way to do it. You know.
Yeah, but what are you doing other than baking bread or?
Well, I'm trying to stay motivated, because the piece I was supposed to do in Barcelona was Eugene Onegin. It would have been my first Russian opera.
Oh.
So, but
and how about your Arabella with Christoph Loy?
Was not.
Was it Madrid?
No, that happened a couple of years ago. That was before. With Loy, Arabella was before.
But weren't you supposed to repeat that?
No, not Arabella.
But you. It was Onegin.
Oh, that's right. Loy's production would have been Onegin. Yes, so that's supposed to come in.
Yeah.
September,
So this.
Canceled.
Okay.
So.
Because it was just, you know, opened in Oslo, the same production.
Oh, was it in Oslo? Right. Okay. I haven't seen it at all, so I was really excited about it. But
yeah.
Anyway, I decided it took me about a week when I went, it just hit me in the gut. You know, I'm in the middle of learning this and even learning some Russian so that I can have some idea.
So
of what's
do you speak
on.
Russian?
No, but I'm learning it. I'm
Wow.
not past the very beginning. I'm in the first course and I'm learning it, but very slowly, but trying to. So anyway, but I've decided to keep working on it slowly but surely. There's a great coach here in Berlin, and she's wonderful with Tchaikovsky and everything, and really loves them all. And I thought, I got to learn it someday, and then it gives me something to work for. Otherwise, what I can choose in opera, I was going to thought maybe I'd start learning Daphne or something like this, Strauss's Daphne, something make me have a goal, because I need that for me to stay motivated personally.
But I think there are good things about this lockdown. I mean, for freelancers, I think it's super stressy in some point. It's hard, but you also finally find time for things that you've been postponing.
Yeah.
Like family life.
Yeah. You can
some books that you've been, avoiding last years, and then some films you wanted to watch.
Friends you wanted to get caught up with. There's one pair of friends. My teacher is actually a friend of mine, and so we actually are having a great time together, and meeting for coffee and dinner all the time, and that kind of.
I mean, last time you were here for Alcina, I was working in another production. You were doing Alcina, and we just had one coffee once at Vera and Gordon. That was it.
I know. It was too fast. But at least I got to see your little boy.
Yeah,
Paul, right?
exactly.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so adorable.
Now Inga just wrote me. Inga says hi. She
Hi,
left
Inga.
she left Paul at grandparents, and she's now driving back. So we have Kinderfreie evening. So
Wow, that's
maybe
really
we go
great.
watch some movie.
Good. You guys, I'm sure you need that, but she must like having you home
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, actually, I think Paul needs that because
Yeah.
he finds us kind of boring, and he wants to spend time with
I doubt that.
time with grandparents.
Well, that's just he just gets spoiled more. There's got to remember that part. He just gets
Exactly.
spoiled.
Exactly. Anyways, for the people who are watching and not in Germany, they're opening the kindergartens on Monday, so I'm gonna bring him to
Fantastic.
kindergarten on Monday. Yeah.
Great.
So life is
Finally.
going back normally, to normal slowly. So
Yeah.
I think there's a hope for
There is definitely hope.
freelancers. I think
Absolutely.
it may change in September, you know.
Maybe things can happen, and you just have to be ready. I think we all have to be prepared, in shape, ready to go, and available to just accept whatever's going to happen and try to help the houses out as well. The houses are suffering too. Oh my gosh, they're losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, they're
So
really,
Barcelona is opening then in January.
I understood at the beginning, at the turn of the year, but officially I don't know very much. They just canceled about a week ago, so
Okay.
I think they're
And
going to start back in December.
anything about the United States? I think it's
I don't know. So I never worked there, so I mean, I know from my parents' point of view what's going on
because
there,
you're
but,
Canadian.
no, right? No. I'm proud to be an American. I need to say, but no, I don't really know how they're opening the houses there, what they're doing. I mean, I see once in a while that they're trying, like what the Deutsche Oper is trying to do am Rhein, that they're trying to figure out little concerts to do here and there, and but the Met has also canceled their season till December, so they kind of set a little bit more of the the precedent of what should be happening sometimes. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, especially for the smaller houses, because
Merhabalar. İyi akşamlar. Türkiye. Guten Abend Deutschland. Good morning East Coast. Selamlar, merhabalar.